morning, McGraw.
So what's this story that your fellow G-men got from this ISIS hostage? What's that story about?
Well, that's a story about a woman that was held. I think she was from the Yadsi tribe, which the ISIS hates. They've used them as sex slaves. They've slaughtered them in mass numbers. So she's basically saying, look, that ISIS now is so pervasive and it so easily can infect young people in this country and other countries that expect more versions of the Orlando shooter, which, that's not a profound statement, but it's a bit chilling, I suppose, hearing it from somebody who lived with ISIS for a period of time.
How can it be that ISIS has no connection to this Orlando shooter? They don't communicate with him. They don't converse with him. They have no contact whatsoever, and yet ISIS is able to then control these individuals.
Because, McGraw, every one of them is searching for an identity. They're searching somebody to connect with. And unfortunately, ISIS pays attention, tells them that they're important people. And this may not be direct because there was no indication that Omar talked to them directly. But he's listening to, sermons by Anwar al-Awlaki, who's obviously deceased, but still very popular on the internet. He's aligning himself, listening to people who support this whole idea of violent jihad, that basically it's us against them. And if you add components of low self-esteem, some mental health issues, big time anger, rage, impulse control issues that Omar apparently has demonstrated since he was a kid, that all of those things combined with, now the world is against me, I'm going to seek my revenge against them. So then you use the platform, because that's all it is, the platform of ISIS, of Al-Qaeda, of some other extremist groups, to justify your launch.
It's as opposed to terrorism, it sounds more like it's somebody who might join a gang, somebody who might join skinheads, somebody might join the KKK.
That's exactly what it is, McGraw. When you look, even breaking down school shooters that have nothing to do with aligning themselves with ISIS, the same sort of troubled personalities, looking for attention, looking for connection, have big-time anger and rage issues. Even maybe they don't demonstrate them. They're like mild and meek, but inside they're raging. All of that stuff goes together in aligning with extremist groups, because extremist groups are black and white. They tell you what to do. They tell you what's right. They tell you what's wrong. And so they give you direction, again, whether it's direct or indirect.
So, Brad Garrett, how do you go about finding a needle inside a stack of needles?
Well, it's twofold. Obviously, you come across people like the Orlando shooter and you do an assessment. They did for months. They surveilled him. They did wiretaps. I think they sent in sources against him, etc. Could not get him up to a threshold of, I'm going to commit a violent act or I'm going to support terrorism in some form or fashion. You got to cross one of those thresholds to get into the, to being charged. So it then boils down to the second part of this, McGraw, and it's your relationship, you, the investigator, you, the detective, you, the patrol officer, having a relationship with that particular community and maybe the people around the person. Like in Omar's case, did they interview his wife? Did they talk to his parents? Did they talk to his friends? Did they talk to his boss? All of those people, if you develop a relationship with, one of them may come back to you and say, you looked at this guy in 2014. He just bought a version of an AR-15. He's really talking in a dark or black way about harming people. It's that tip. That's what stops us. Just like that's what stops crime. People call in and say, so-and-so's going to rob a bank. So you go and you stop him before he robs the bank. It's the same way with these guys.
That's why the experts say that the Muslim community, the mosques, they're going to be on the front lines of stopping this because they're going to have better access or closer access to some of these people.
With some of them. But the problem, McGraw, is that these youngsters, and I'll even put the Orlando shooter into this to a certain extent. I don't know how much. Many of them are not even active in a mosque because they're doing this all online. Is that the real key is, yes, I agree with you. You need to get people, the imam, etc., the people at a mosque. But the most important part is that immediate circle around the person.
Whether it's a Muslim, a Christian, a neighbor, a friend, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever.
That's the key.
Yeah. Brad Garrett, ABC crime and terrorism analyst, the best in the business. Brad, thanks for checking in.
Take care, McGraw.
725.